So, in the words of Mahatma Gandhi, F my life. Sorry about that. I completely lost power. My laptop battery, which is supposed to last for 10 hours, lasted for, well, you saw it. It lasted for less than half an hour because I had to unplug it from the power to plug in my microphone because it wasn't working so well over Bluetooth. And now I'm talking to you over Bluetooth. So I'm sorry if it's a bit crackly, if it's a bit rubbish. Bluetooth is a shit technology that was developed in 1989. It is so outdated, it's painful. Absolutely everything else on the electromagnetic spectrum interferes with it. It's a big bag of doo-doo as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, did you ever get the chance to job it? Yeah. One thing I'm going to do as soon as this stream is over, I'm going to obviously put back BBC Parliament on again. I'm going to also order a new battery for my laptop. And tomorrow when I do HughesRound, I'll be actually doing it from home, but I'll have my proper microphone set up. That's sent me for Christmas. Thank you, David. So where was I? This audio is trippy. Do you know what? I could just do this on me. The problem is if we're trying to do this on my audio on my laptop, touch my laptop, it makes a horrible noise. Okay, it sounds like the Daleks are attacking. Right, let's end this sound, this awful, dreadful robot sound. I'm just going to disconnect it. One, two, 1, 2. Okay, right, you hear me from my laptop now. Okay, let's get the chat up. Right. Okay, how is that? Is that a slightly better sound? It's coming through my laptop, so might as well just chuck this in the bin. It's nice and quiet. I've just gotta not touch my laptop now for a little bit. Better, mate. Okay. The audio is mental. Yeah. Not great. Not great. I'm sorry. I should have brought my microphone, but it's really heavy. It's hard to fit in my backpack. It's actually got, but better than it was. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If I say, Mark Francois is a rapper. Yeah, he's really into rap music. It makes him a rappist. Okay, but a bit quiet. Okay, well, I'll try and just be a bit more boomy than in my old voice. It shouldn't be quiet. I could turn the volume up a little bit. There you go. Right. The only problem with this would be, I guess, if I talk too loud, but I've just turned the volume up a little bit on my... Hear you loud and clear, says Sharon. Shannon. Easy for you to say. Okay, what a day for me to show this to my husband the first time. Came out of isolation today. Oh, I'm sorry, Choxal. That's, yeah, it's not been great technology-wise. But then, this is a running theme with HughesRound. We will get it right in the new year, I'm sure. Graham needs a roadie and possibly a roll of gaffer tape. Yes, gaffer tape is when I travelled around the world, I always had a bit of gaffer tape with me. It is just the most useful invention known to man. There's a wonderful episode of the Mythbusters where they make a bridge out of gaffer tape. It's one of my favourite episodes. They make a bridge out of gaffer tape. Come on, well, you can't go wrong with that. So you're a fan of Mark Francois? Me too. Lol. It's weird how these French-sounding people have got this huge problem with the EU. But yeah, going back to the debate today, so it's obviously that this deal's going to go through. The ERG's looked at it and gone, yeah, we agree with this, which is bonkers, really. I mean, you've got to give it to them that they really don't care about Britain. They really do not care about Britain. They've looked at it and gone, can we make a lot of money out of this for ourselves and our friends? The answer being yes, of course. And then they're like, oh yeah, okay, well let's go ahead with this. This will be great. Graham Graham needs a Glasgow kiss. That's a very nice. I'm going to get rid of that person. So we will not have violence blocking on YouTube. There you go. Bye. They're also called the Conservator. I think that's maybe a conservative and a Terminator put together. They go around the country basically making things bad for the 66.5 million people who weren't born millionaires, in deference to the 100,000 that were. So yeah, it's free. I'm not complaining. That's from Too Much 77. Yeah, no. I need to get with the program now. There's a lot of technical things that I need to go right in order for these podcasts to work, and getting to grips with them all, and also sort of putting out fires while you're doing it it just makes it a little bit difficult. Some people here won't understand that. Well, if you don't know what a Glasgow kiss is, you don't want a Glasgow kiss. It's a headbutt. Smash the like, says Chocolate. Well, I think I don't deserve that many likes today because my computer turned itself off and I lost the feed and had to restart and try again. And the sound's been dreadful and just F my life. But going back to the vote, which is what I'm supposed to be talking about today. I don't know. I'd love to hear some opinions. I'm sure some people have already written in the messages here. Let me put it the right way. Messages here saying about what they think that Starmer should do or should have done. I'm interested in hearing your opinions. Do you think they should have abstained? Do you think they should have voted against it? What's that will stand them in good stead? My argument is this. In any given election, you only need about 40% of the votes to win. You don't need over 50 because we have first past the post. So you get 40% of the votes, you win that election. So the first thing you need to do is make sure there are no one on your side standing against you, because then you're splitting the vote for you where it's not splitting the vote for the other person. But also, the fact is that even if things have just remained as they were since 2016, you're talking about 48% of the electorate. These are people who can be arsed, getting off their arses and going and voting. Not the general population, but the electorate. At least 48% of them, at least 16 million of them. And don't forget, only 13 million voted for the Tories in this last election. So 16 million people would not just hand you success, it would hand you a massive thumping majority if you bring them on and say, yeah, be part of this, be part of our constant criticism of this Tory Brexit and the way it's gone down. And better. No eel is better than a bad eel. If anyone saw that clip that was doing the rounds on Twitter yesterday, it was an eel farmer who basically has been screwed over by Brexit and he voted for it. It's just, you're going to see that story a lot. One of the things that I want to do as part of the Rejoin campaign is working with local EU groups. I want really super localized leaflets to go out to areas about businesses in the area, about supermarket prices and it for their local supermarket, and have the name of their supermarket on there, on the leaflet. Price rises, people who have lost their jobs, community installations and facilities that have lost their funding because of Brexit. And it would be a way of getting around the social media bubble. It would be a way of breaking out the social media bubble. You'll be able to get to people who aren't even on social media. And also, I feel like if you did it with people whose only mode of information getting is from the Mail, the Sun, the Express, the Telegraph, it would allow them to see something else, and they might not agree with it. They might scrumple it up and throw it away. But what we have is it won't cost much. You can print 1,000 leaflets for like 50 quid, just like A4, it's like A5, black and white, one-sided print, just the Brexit news, what's happening in that very local area, what's happening on that street. We do have hundreds of thousands of activists who are prepared to do a bit, and it might just be once a month they go out and just basically flyer their street and just go up and down the street and give the flyers out. If anyone stops them, they go, look, we're just telling you what's happening. It doesn't say Rejoin on there. There's no stars, the EU or anything like that. It's just we need to get that information out, and we're not at the moment. And we need to start thinking of other ways to get that information to people, because we're going to be blocked by Facebook, we're going to be blocked by Twitter. They're very into their algorithms. You see what they want you to see, and it's what reinforces your beliefs anyway. A lot of cognitive bias is obviously pushed on these social media platforms. So to try and break out that bubble, I think that would be a really good idea, a low-cost way of getting the message out that this is a bad idea, Brexit isn't working, because otherwise people won't notice. It's the frog in the slowly heating water. Put a frog in boiling water, it jumps out. If you slowly heat the water out, it doesn't jump out. Apparently it does, but I mean, it's an analogy. Yeah, that idea that things aren't going to get so bad so quickly, and a lot of the Project Fear stuff, which was about no deal, and this is quite frustrating, is like, this will happen if we don't have a deal. And then they were saying, no deal would be great, let's go WTO. Well, the let's go WTO people seem to have shut up or gone away, or now they're happy with a deal. Who knows? But the point was that if we did have no deal, it would be absolutely disastrous for the United Kingdom. Whereas what we're doing now is just madly catastrophic for the United Kingdom and the future. PR is the only way to get a rejoined government. But the only way we're going to get PR is if Labour team up with the Lib Dems. Now, Labour need to change their manifesto, their constitution. In Labour's constitution, a lot of Labour members and even Labour MPs that I've spoken to about this don't seem to know this. Part of the constitution says that they have to field a candidate for a general election in every single constituency in Great Britain. Not Northern Ireland, but Great Britain. It's every single constituency in Scotland, where they don't stand a chance, and in Wales, in the south of England, in the Cotswolds, in Bath. They have to field a candidate. And the fact is that candidate is very unlikely to win. So as a one-off, they need to amend this bit of their constitution. This is where Phil Morehouse's idea of staying in Labour so we can make change within Labour that we need to make the steps to rejoin. It makes sense. We need to change the constitution of Labour to say that they can stand aside candidates. And they need to do that for one election, the 2024 election, get going with the Lib Dems, because there are people who are Tories who will never, ever, ever vote for Labour. And there are constituencies that Labour just cannot win. And all they do by fielding candidates is stop the Lib Dem candidate from winning. So we need that deal. We need it with the SNP as well, if they're still around, as I said. And if we get that, then we can have PR. And maybe that could be something that they run on. If they don't want to talk about Europe, it pisses me off, but I guess, okay, then let's talk about something else. Let's get PR in. And the annoying thing is that there's a lot of Democrats in America, and there's a lot of Labour people in the UK who think that the system works for them, when it doesn't. It works for the other side. They think, this is beneficial to us. But an American system in which the president consistently loses the public vote for the country, the overall public vote, they lose that, the popular vote, sorry, but they still win the election, like what happened in 2000 and what happened in 2016. That's not democratic, and it's not helpful for the Democrats. Same thing in the UK. More people voted against the Tories in the last election than voted for them, even considering Labour's absolutely diabolical showing at the polls, where they came out with the worst election results in their history. People say it's the worst since 1935, but I think they gained some seats in 1935, whereas they just lost everything. And blaming that on Brexit, blaming that on the Remainers or Brexit vote or whatever, I think is just wrong, because people were willing to give Jeremy Corbyn the benefit of the doubt in 2017, and we saw we had a hung parliament as a result. In 2019, they were not prepared to give this guy the benefit of the doubt again, and that's what made the big difference. Labour lost 2.5 million votes. And as I keep saying, you can't change people's minds. You just got to get your side out. You've got to get your side out. Chris Kovac says, Labour were finished in Scotland years ago. Yeah, I think 2014 was the nail in the coffin, wasn't it? Because they promised the party leaders at the time, so it was Clegg and Cameron and Miliband, they were on the front cover of the Sunday Sun or whatever it was, saying these are our pledges, our promises to Scotland, none of which they kept. And one of the big things for keeping Scotland in the Union, the United Kingdom was they would have to rejoin the EU. And that might be a problem for them, especially as the Spanish might block it because they don't want Catalonia going for independence. Now that's not the case. If Scotland got independence in the next few years and applied via Article 49 to rejoin the EU, they'd rejoin so quick it will make your head spin. Because they pretty much, as long as their constitution, they printed a document in 2014. It was called like Scotland's Future or something, and it was like a little booklet that went out to people's houses in Scotland, and it laid the groundwork to say this is what we want to do with a future independent Scotland. The Brexiteers didn't do that. The Brexiteers in their referendum, they just lied to everyone, made vague, nebulous promises about things that they had no intention of keeping, and never did a roadmap. They never said this is what it's going to look like. Because they learned from the SNP's mistake of giving too much information. Again, going back to something I said in the first half, before the commercial break, which was sometimes silence is better in politics. You've got to play the game, apparently. John Barleycorn says there's a lot of stuff that the opposition parties have in common. If they run on PR, a better EU deal, and the stuff they agree on, they might get somewhere. Yeah, John, you're absolutely right. Our politics is way too tribal to survive in a first past the post system. We've got to change the system. Labour is finished in Scotland. Things are going to get into bed with the Tory, thanks to getting into bed with the Tories in 2014, and now again in 2020. Yeah, I think Marza Jeddah is right there. Kevin says, can't agree with you there, Graham. That eel distributor won't suffer. He made $2 million a year, his employees will. He voted for Brexit because he thought foreign workers would lose their jobs. Okay, Kevin, I didn't see the whole interview, so yeah, no sympathy for him. But yeah, if he loses his business, he loses his business, and that's what he voted for. He voted to make business harder for British people, to make working anywhere else but Britain harder, but also to make working in Britain harder, because as has been pointed out by other commentators, the fact is now, if you have an EU passport, you live in the UK, and you've got an EU passport like Farage's kids. If you have the exact same qualifications for a job that you're going for, say in the City of London or as a sales rep or anything like that, you're going to get preferential treatment because you can live and you can work and you can travel to all these different countries around Europe without having to ask permission or fill out a form, apply for a work permit, apply for a working visa or anything like that. So they're going to be like, well, this guy's going to cost us a few £100s a year more and a lot more headache with paperwork, or we can take this other candidate instead who has her mum was from Ireland, so they have an EU passport. No, they'll give the job to the person with the EU passport. So basically, if you're British, you've been screwed over by this deal. Graham, tier 3, 4 or 5 for Liverpool tomorrow. What do you think? That's from Arnold. I think that we should just have another national lockdown. What can I say? I mean, I don't think we should have stopped the lockdown. I think we should have stayed locked down for the whole thing. Showing off your education there. Sorry, I missed out sugar-free. I'll put this back in. Until we understand what Johnson is, a human entity with zero concern for anyone or anything but himself, we will all continue to be harmed by him. Yeah, sugar-free. I think when I say like a leaflet campaign, it sounds really daffy. It sounds like, well, how is that going to help? But we've got to break through. We've got to get into people's imaginations in a way that the Brexiteers did for many years. And it took a long time. This drip feeding and misinformation about the EU. We're not even going to be doing that. We're going to be giving information. But unfortunately, we don't have any newspapers on our side. We've got The Guardian, I guess, but a lot of people don't read The Guardian. The Independent, maybe, I don't know, but a lot of people don't read The Eye, which is owned by the Daily Mail, I think, anyway. I mean, and then you've got Byline Times, which is amazing, and I encourage anyone watching this to subscribe to Bylines because they do such great investigative journalism. But the people who need to be reading it, the people who need to be convinced, will never read it because it's a broadsheet. I know it's a website, but it's effectively a broadsheet newspaper. What we could do with actually is like a tabloid. We could do with the New European, right? But it's a tabloid, and it's got celebrity gossip in. It's got really good puzzles in, so people buy it for the crossword. And it's got, I don't know, scantily clad men and women posing on the beach for no reason for a vacuous news story. But, you know, all the things you'll find in a normal tabloid, but it's pro-EU, and it keeps doing stories about how bad Brexit is. It's a really good idea. I would like to be editor of something like that. I'll probably do a quite good job of it. But again, the other problem, along with not controlling the politics, not controlling the media, the joiners do not control the flow of money. There aren't that many billionaire remainers out there. They're very few and far between. I think the closest one I can think of is what, George Soros? I don't know. J.K. Rowling might help us out, but I'm sure she's got better things to spend her time doing, like hanging around outside toilets, making sure people go in the right ones. Check out Cluster B, Personality Disorders. That's on Sugar Free. Marza Jeddah says there are many similarities between the Scottish independent movement and the Remain movement. The media is the main issue for both causes. Yeah, and we need to be smart about this as well. And I would not object to a guerrilla arm unofficially, not even just unofficially, a guerrilla arm of Rejoin, whose job it is just to upset the media. No, not upset the media, but stop them doing what they do. Look at what Extinction Rebellion did earlier this year, where they blocked the entrance to the printers. And that stopped the papers going out for a few hours. It was a little bit, but it was enough to basically bring attention and also stop the flow of disinformation, if only for a few hours. There's also stuff we can do online. I mean, if we had access to resources like the Russians have, we could have a troll farm. We could have a troll farm set up in the UK whose job was you have 50 employees and they just go on message boards. And they're all on VPNs, and they all just set up new accounts every day, and they go on and flood the message boards or the comments section of the Daily Mail's website, which is the most read news site on earth, with information about the EU, slagging off Brexit, taking people on when they leave a comment. Oh yeah, foreigners coming here, you know. So there are things that we could do legally within the law, just to disrupt things, and I think that disruptive tactics. I can't see any other way out of this, because the only other way you can shut the newspapers off is if you have lots and lots of money. And that's why I would like to see Prince Harry and Meghan's... well, he's not Prince anymore, is he? Is he still a Prince? I don't know. Harry and Meghan's cases against the tabloids come to fruition. I hope they get sued their asses off. I hope readership goes down. I hope they get sued. I just don't want them, because they are a cancer on society, a foghorn of ignorance. They just spread these lies and nobody stops them, and no one stands up against them. And when people try to stand up against them, they generally get battered down. And these are people in these tabloids who are happy to hack the phones of dead children. Okay, so these are not people that we need to be like protecting in any way. These are not people that we need. And columnists are even worse. I mean, you've got journalists are one thing. Columnists, they're literally rich kids whose job it is to put their opinions and spread them around to everybody who's within earshot. Within earshot. Everyone in the country gets to read what they think about any given thing, any day of the week. And again, that's something that we need to combat. We need to have a look at ways of disrupting that and making it so it's not so easy for them. I don't know, maybe make it so their microphone doesn't work and their computer turns off halfway through whatever they're doing. Now to wrap it up soon. I know it's a bit late starting today, and obviously we had a bit of a break halfway through, so I'll give you a few more minutes. Sugar Free saying sociopath, antisocial, personality disorder, histrionic, borderline, narcissistic. Once you know these, the shitstorm we're in all becomes clear. Yeah, and the people who are in power are empowered to just live a very different life to the rest of us. When you don't need to work, very hard to have empathy with people who need to work. That's just what I believe. We had a troll farm in a radio show in Denmark. It changed quite a lot. Extremely effective. Yeah, Christian's saying it's effective. We've got the people. We know we've got the people who are willing to give up a little bit of their free time to do this. If we had money, it'd be a lot easier. A guerrilla party, the scum party, Tory party politics, without the lies and deception, what they're really trying to do. That's interesting. So like a scum party where it's just you're just parroting what the Tories are saying, but more clearly, more in a way that actually isn't surrounded in politesse and and carefully focused grouped mantras and 3-word slogans. Twitter is full of trolls. Go to announcement from the FM and there's a slew of negative comments. Too quickly for just normal folk going online to comment. Need to tackle this in the same way. Yeah, Marty, you're right. And it's very interesting that when there's nothing really happening with Brexit, and I put a anti-Brexit thing up on my Twitter feed, I get hardly any comments. I hardly get, I might get some retweets and some positive comments. But when I get a flood of comments, it's always when there's something else going on, when there's a debate going through Parliament, when the deal's about to be done, when Brexit is also in the media, when it's in the news, suddenly all the name 455978, name number people who've had an account for 3 months all crop up. And one of the things I'd like Twitter to do is actually block people, give you the opportunity to block people who haven't had an account for more than 3 months or have only 500 followers or 100 followers or whatever. You should be able to set it to what you want people to, and then if they haven't been on Twitter long enough, they can't respond. Because what happens is every day you've got these troll forums, people signing up with a new name, and then they just write, oh, that's bollocks, yay, Britain, and they'll call me a loser and spell it with 2 O's. Sugar Free, bring it back. What's this? Bring back what? We have all been radicalized by some extent by social media platforms, especially since 2016. We are a product to them. We are a product to them, not a user. Yeah, absolutely. There's a great show. I think it's on Netflix. It might be on Amazon, ironically, but it's all about how it's a documentary. It's all about how social media takes stock of who we are and looks at everything and basically comes up with targeted adverts and creates a digital avatar of you. It's called The Social Dilemma. It's well worth checking out. Why are all the Brexiteers in the key positions of power and influence? This is so fucking annoying. Yes, it is. I'm sorry for swearing. Shockstar says, I'm down south, but I would vote SNP / yes in a heartbeat. Maybe should I start a new website like Eng for Scots and engforscots.com. Should I start that and we'll have like a little group of people who are English who are saying, yeah, Scottish independence, you deserve it. Daffy says, after a long and difficult year, we all needed something to cheer us up this Christmas and coming New Year. What we got instead was Bojo crowing about his Christmas gift to the nation, a Brexit deal, a shit Brexit deal, a terrible, terrible Brexit deal. And if you've been watching Parliament today, Labour MP after Labour MP saying, this is a terrible deal, here's why, listing the reasons it's a terrible deal, and then saying, I'm going to vote for it anyway. What? Attila saying, I've got less than 300 followers. Yeah, but I'm friends with you already, so I'm talking about new people. So it would be people who aren't your friends. So if someone follows me, that I wouldn't stop people with 300 followers from following me. And then if I followed them, then they can comment. That's fine. I mean, the settings will be there. Someone I don't follow, who has 50 followers, who set up the account yesterday, no, they shouldn't be able to comment on what I put on Twitter if I don't want them to. That's what I would like Twitter to do. I'd also like, on January the 20th, next month, I would love them to kick Trump off Twitter. Just delete his account. That would be beautiful. It'll be a beautiful thing. All 88 million followers that he's got. Gone. Right, I'm probably, what's the buzzing noise? Sorry guys, the buzzing noise is my laptop, is a pile of shite, and I've had to use that as my mic today because I haven't got my normal mic, and it's the fan. It's the fan in my laptop making a load of noise, or it might be me touching the touchpad to just put up this message here. Oh, my life. I'm trying to do this as delicately as possible so it doesn't make too much noise for you all there. Let's have a look. There we go. There it is. I don't want to be typing stuff in, so I'm just going to quickly put that in there. And then stop touching the laptop, Graham. Step away to the laptop. If you'd like to help me in my quest to buy a new battery for my laptop so it doesn't run out of batteries halfway through because it's only got one USB-C socket, because for some reason laptops only have one USB-C socket and you can't power them and use them for other things like mics at the same time, which is so frustrating. It's like, I need to power my phone, need to plug in my mic, need to power my phone, need to... oh God. But anyway, if you'd like to help me fund a new battery, which will be about 40 quid for my laptop, I would really, really, really appreciate you heading over to Patreon if you haven't already, and offering to fund me for just a few pounds a month to make these things and to get better at making these things. I apologise for the technical problems that we have had. So I've put up the details there. I've got a subscribe link, which is That Ginger Scouser, YouTube, That Ginger Scouser again for support. And if you're interested in learning more about the Rejoin movement that we're getting going, I'm actually having a meeting tonight with a Zoom meeting with Richard Wilson from the Grassroots for Europe campaign. We're going to thrash out the plan essentially, and I think anyone's free to join it. So if you want to get involved in that, give me a shout and I'll let you know what the Zoom meeting thing is going to be. It's going to be at 7 o'clock. It's going to be at half seven tonight, and we can talk a little bit about what we want the Rejoin movement to look like, being realistic about its future, about how long it's going to take to do things, being realistic about what we can achieve and what we can't achieve, and generally learning from the mistakes of the Remain campaign. I think that would be good. I don't believe it. Yes, Richard, not that Richard Wilson, different Richard Wilson. Okay, perhaps we should make a Rejoin beer to be sold to fundraise. That'd be good. Do you know what though? I took a lot more money when I was doing the Three Blokes. Obviously, the Three Blokes was three people, so it was a bit more entertaining than this. But when I just did the buy a drink for the Three Blokes campaign, that was the most successful fundraising campaign I've ever ran, and it wasn't to make videos, it wasn't to get better tech, it wasn't any of that. It was literally, do you want to buy us a drink? And everyone's like, yeah, okay, I'll throw some money in to buy you a drink, which was nice. But what's the meeting? Sugar Free, I'm talking later today with Richard Wilson of Grassroots for Europe on Zoom, and we've encouraged everyone who's involved in Grassroots for Europe to come along and take part in the conversation if they'd like to. It starts at 7:30. If you go to the Rejoin link on here and just send me a message, I'll try and get the Zoom meeting link to you. I'm not going to put it on here because it will go to everybody on YouTube, and the last thing we need is trolls turning up and going, "Hey, Graham, you're an idiot," online. So let's if you just send me a message, if you go to the bottom of the rejoineu.uk page, there's a comment section, you can send me a message. By the way, I've had over 100 messages since Christmas. It's going to take me a while to get back to everybody, but yeah, thanks to everyone who sent me a message on the campaign. And even if it was just like a message saying, "Great, this is cool," I will respond and say thank you personally for doing that. But it'll just take me a while. Is the meeting on Zoom / YouTube? No, it's on Zoom, Jim Bob. It's on Zoom. So get over to rejoin.eu. rejoineu.uk, and yeah, just have a look at that. Go down to the comments at the bottom, and yeah, that'll be great. Right, okay, really, thank you so much for watching. Sorry, quite a stressful HughesRound for me. I'm going to go back to watching BBC Parliament, and maybe we'll discuss this a little bit later on Zoom. If you're there, please join us. You're very welcome to give your 2 pence if you would. And yeah, will you ever have Phil from A Different Bias on? Yes, absolutely, I would have Phil on. I think we'd have not just an interesting conversation, but Phil's very persuasive. He's very good at explaining things and putting them across in ways that make them very straightforward when they're quite complex ideas. And he's a very good persuasive voice, and he's also from the north, which also helps. So yeah, I'd love to have a chat with Phil one day. As I said, I'm planning to speak to Robespierre on the 4th of January, so look out for that. Please have Phil on. Okay, I'll send him a message. All right, okay. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.